Is Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance any good? Let's talk about that after we read the description of the game. But actually this time, I'm going to pull it from the trailer and let this guy say it instead of reading it from Steam.
Welcome to Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. A non-stop, heart-pounding, kill everything that moves action brawler with co-op.
You have 4 different iconic characters to choose from, each with their own weapons and abilities. You pick a mission from the mission board, then your team stands in the portal to start the mission. The missions are mostly do these mundane tasks, kill these bosses, and that is basically the missions. That's all you have to do during the missions. You don't have to kill all the enemies. You don't even really need to kill all the enemies to even progress further in the mission, because the AI is just so bad that you can just run past all the enemies and not have to worry about them. The AI, period, just has difficulty knowing you even exist, especially if you play as Caddy the Archer. You can kill most enemies without them even attacking you or really even seeing you.
Out of bars before I had my fill. That target village, Billy. I'd best find him.
In fact, this quote from one of the characters in this game just summarizes the AI perfectly.
These goblin fellas are some schnitz.
I mean, even if you get the AI's attention, all you have to do is walk a tiny bit away from them and they just completely give up on chasing you. They'll even just walk in place, like they're walking after you, but they're just walking in place. The boss fights are also uninteresting and lame. Did I mention yet that the movement is also unresponsive and that your character slides around on the ground on their own? So if you ever stop playing for a second, get up and do something, and you don't pause it, or you just sit there for a few seconds and just don't move, you just decide not to move, your character is just gonna slide on the ground towards a direction. Hopefully you're not close to an edge, because you'll just slide right off that edge. The combat is very repetitive and annoying, and it doesn't even feel that good to do these moves and attacks and fight all these goblins, because a lot of your melee attacks can miss when they should hit, and when you do try to swing your weapon, it's like sometimes you just have to get lucky for your weapon to actually hit them. And they do have a lock-on system, which would probably fix the mess that they have with the melee combat, but the lock-on system, it zooms in so much that, and it focuses on one like person just so much that you can't see what's going on around you, so you'll never want to use the lock-in system. In fact, a lot of attacks, ranged and melee, can miss even when they should hit, because the collisions on the objects and the hit detection on the enemies, it's all very bad. Some collisions on objects are just way too big, and the hit detection on enemies is not big enough because it seems like it doesn't cover their head, because I'm sitting there shooting this goblin in the face with arrows over and over again, and none of it is counting as a hit. The traps also have messed up hit detection, and you can get hit by some traps, especially the ice spikes for some reason, without even touching them. The scaling is also off, so combat at times can be very easy, where you just dominate all the enemies, or it can be the complete opposite and enemies dominate and 1 to 2 shot you. Most of the gameplay is fighting, so the combat not being that fun and the AI being completely brain dead makes you question what reason is there to play this game. Leveling up in this game is also lame and boring, with the main upgrades being a couple of numbers being added to your stats. The archer can kill enemies at a distance without them even knowing. The dwarf guy feels just slow in my opinion. Just everything that he does just is so slow. I think the only not slow thing about him is his run speed. Everything else is just so slow. The rogue elf with the dual daggers is probably the most fun to use, but his attacks seem to kind of lock your movement, and you can't really move that well while swinging your knives. The barbarian guy, on the other hand, I didn't really bother with him, but from what I heard, he's a bit janky. When you kill enemies, you don't get any gold, gear, or XP. You get all that stuff from chests, random bags of gold on the ground, and at the completion or the end of the mission is when you get it. You also can't equip new gear during the mission. You have to wait until you complete it. Just everything in this game feels very unpolished and unfinished. The graphics in this game are actually decent. Sometimes, dare I say it, this game can look good. But then it gets kind of weird, because later on in the game, there's some lava levels and some cutscenes, and that just can make the game look bad. I mean, me personally, I just think the lava and the glow, the red glow that the lava gives off, just makes the game, I think the glow makes the game look worse, like the textures on the ground, but I think the lava in general just looks bad. But the locations, the general locations of the game do look cool. This game has a story, but I'm gonna be honest here, it didn't grip me. And when a story doesn't grip me, when it doesn't grab me, I kind of don't follow along, but I did try, and the most I got from the story, obviously no spoilers from me, but there's an evil army that you have to stop and destroy this like crystal shard thing, and that's about all I got from the story. I'm sure there is much more to the story, especially in the novels, but that's about all I got from the story, to be honest with you. I'm also going to point out that I don't know anything about the novels or the iconic characters' stories other than this game, so I just thought I'd point that out here. If you can't tell by now, I would not recommend Dungeons & Dragons Dark Alliance. It feels unpolished, unfinished, and the combat is unresponsive. The movement is also unresponsive, and your character kind of slides around the map. Overall, this game is not worth your time or money. Warhammer Vermintide, which was a very fun game, by the way. You guys should go and check that game out. But that game basically does what this game does. Just, it does everything 10 times better. Maybe even 20 times better. But it's also $10 cheaper. Warhammer Vermintide is $30 and this game is $40. So it makes it even more easy to not recommend this game. Also, this game's gameplay explainer trailer is really good and the narrator really sells the game. Too bad this game didn't even live up to that trailer. Anyways, that's all I got to say for this video, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me what you guys think about this game and this video. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you want to be subscribed, and I'll see you guys next time.